All English Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to All English Podcast. Let me start with a quick question. Have you ever said a sentence in English, felt that something sounded wrong, but you couldn't explain why? You knew the grammar, you knew the words, but still it didn't feel natural. If that has ever happened to you, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're talking about two very small verbs that cause surprisingly big problems for English learners. Two words you use every day. Two words that look simple, but somehow they keep getting mixed up. Make and do. Almost every English learner asks the same questions. When do I say make? When do I say do? Why does do a mistake sound wrong even though it feels logical? If this confusion sounds familiar, stay with me. By the end of this episode, make and do won't feel like rules anymore. They'll feel natural. Now, let me tell you something very honest. Native speakers don't think about grammar rules when they use make and do. They don't stop and analyze. They don't translate. They use patterns. They use habits. They use feeling. And today, my goal is to give you that feeling. Let's start with the big picture. In general, make is about creating something. Do is about performing an action or activity. That's the basic idea. But don't worry, we're going much deeper than that. Let's begin with make. When you use make, something new usually appears after the action. Something is created. Sometimes it's physical. Sometimes it's mental. But something comes into existence. For example, I make breakfast every morning. Before breakfast, there is nothing ready. After breakfast, food exists. Another example, I made a mistake. Before the action, there was no mistake. After the action, the mistake exists. Or, I'm making a decision. That decision is created in your mind. It didn't exist before. Now, let's talk about do. Do is about actions, tasks, routines, and processes. You are not creating something new. You are performing something that already exists. For example, I do my homework. The homework already exists. You are just completing it. I do exercise every day. You're not creating exercise. You're doing an activity. Here's where many learners get confused. They translate directly from their own language. But English doesn't work that way. English works with collocations. That means certain verbs naturally go together with certain nouns. And native speakers feel these combinations, even if they can't explain them. Let's look at very common expressions with make. These are extremely important. We say, make a mistake, make a decision, make money. Make friends. Make progress. Why? Because in all of these, something is being created. Listen carefully to the sentence. I'm making an effort to improve my English. Effort is something mental, but it's still something you create. Now let's move to very common expressions with do. We say, do homework, do the dishes, do the laundry, do exercise. Do a job. Notice the pattern. Most do expressions are about work, tasks, and daily responsibilities. Now, let's go one level deeper. Very often, make focuses on the result, while do focuses on the process. Listen to this comparison. I made a cake. The focus is the cake. I did the cooking. The focus is the activity. Another example, she made a plan. The plan is the result. She did the planning. Now the focus is the process. English also loves using make with emotions. We say, make someone happy, make someone angry, make someone laugh, make someone cry. Why? Because you're creating an emotional reaction in another person. Now let's talk about fixed expressions that learners often mix up. We say make sense, not do sense. We say make sure For example, make sure you lock the door. We say make noise. The children are making noise. Now listen to very natural expressions with do. Do your best. Do me a favor. Do business. Do research. Research already exists as an activity. You perform it. You do it. Sometimes, both make and do are possible, but the meaning changes. For example, I made a speech. This focuses on creating the speech. I did a speech. This focuses more on the act of giving it. Or, I made a drawing. The drawing is the result. I did some drawing. Now the focus is the activity, not the final picture. Let's talk about common mistakes. We never say do a decision. Decision always goes with make. We never say make homework. Homework always goes with do. Here's a simple memory trick. If the noun feels like a task or responsibility, think do. If it feels like a result or outcome, think make. This won't work 100% of the time, but it will work most of the time, and that's enough for real communication. In spoken English, do is also very flexible. Native speakers often use it when they don't want to be specific. For example, what are you doing this weekend? But make usually sounds more intentional and specific. One final learning tip. Your brain remembers language better in chunks, not rules. So instead of memorizing grammar, memorize sentences like, I made a mistake. I'm doing my best. I made a decision. I'm doing my homework. Say them out loud. Let your brain feel them. You will make mistakes with make and do. That's normal. Native speakers still understand you. Fluency is not about perfection. It's about clarity and confidence. If people understand you, you are communicating successfully. Before we finish, remember this feeling. Make builds something. Do moves something. If this episode helped you, listen again. Repeat the examples and trust the process. Your English is improving even when you don't notice it.